Welcome to another episode of the Dynamic Thriving Podcast. I am your host, Mary Ann Pack, spiritual medium, author, publisher, and joyologist, guiding you into all things life transformational. And this is our presentation, our podcast series for Keys to Joyful Living. And today I have my very, very precious guest, Elizabeth Hill, is with me. And we're going to talk about why she said yes to keys. Why was it important for her to join our podcast and book anthology project for this year? And so I'm going to get right started and jump right in and ask you, as I always ask my guests, who is Elizabeth and what good do you bring into the world?
Yes, thank you. So I am a writing coach and author. I am a publisher. I am head of Green Heart Living Press, and I am on a mission to make the world a more loving and peaceful place, one book at a time. I have it that the more that we write, we can heal our own personal stories and give inspiration to other people by sharing our stories too. And so that's what I'm up to in the world.
I love it. I love it. Elizabeth is my mentor in publishing, all things publishing. So I pick her brain all the time, and I've gotten to work with her, and it's been just a glorious ride, and I will continue to do so.
Yes. Yes.
So it's been fun. It's been fun. And as always, our mess is our message. Kind of what we go through is what we tend to serve in the world around. Maybe not their primary, but it comes through. So talk a little bit about how that mess transformed and became your message.
Yes. I have a couple different ways I like to think about this. One is that I often will say that I've lived, 40 different lifetimes within this life, right? I just feel like I've done so many different things, had so many different versions of myself. I kept transforming, and I've had times where my mindset, the way that my brain worked completely turned, right? So I have shifted my belief systems multiple times throughout my life. And that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because I am open to that idea of that we can change our thoughts. We can change the way that we view the world or see the world. And when we do that intentionally, then we are able to live in a much different way, and hopefully a more peaceful way of life on the planet, if we're able to hear other people's stories and learn and grow from each other. I also have done a lot of work around anxiety, and had a lot of times in my life where I was really very depressed. I was a very angry and sad child, sadly. And so there have been times in my life where I did not cope with that well and was a mess. And over time, I've learned better ways of coping with that and shifting, so that before, it used to be that a lot of my brain, like everything in my brain, was like dark clouds and very depressing and a lot of negative stuff. And I set on a path to start shifting that, so that I do wake up, and usually now my first thoughts are good thoughts about what the day has in store for me. And that took a lot of practice to get to that place, right? And sometimes that's because, I've taken action and my life is in a better place, but also it's a lot of thinking about shifting how I think about things. And so I do a lot of that work with it was with my yoga clients, my coaching clients. I'm a social worker in background. So I did a lot of helping people through that sort of thing professionally. And now I focus that work with my authors that I work with and writing their stories also, right? We're still in this transformational process, a lot of my authors. And so shifting that mindset and being intentional about it is something I help people with too. Yes. What a cool job I have. It's just so groovy. I love it, right? It's just the best.
And how many times we find ourselves, editing a work or something, and it's like, oh, I get to do this, and it's so uplifting to us
Mm-hmm.
as the editors and the publishers and the writing coaches, and because there are times when I'm just not feeling it, and I start working on somebody's book or even this project in Keys to Joyful Living. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, it all comes back again, you know.
I have to tell you, it's so wild. And I feel like the universe gives me the clients that I need, just as they might be viewing me as the coach they need. But the universe definitely does give me the clients I need. Sometimes it's like right after I've had this big shift or change or awareness, and then I get someone that literally is the same thing that I can help someone with. It's wild. And I started noticing that when I was teaching yoga. I started noticing it. Then when I was coaching people, and then definitely when with the writing. I mean, I get these things to read and I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is amazing that this is right on time, that I can help this person or that they can help me in a way that it's just this amazing synergy that, yeah, I'm helping them, but they're helping me learn at the same time. It's
Absolutely.
wild.
Yeah, I think we definitely rendezvous with those people that are helpers,
Yeah.
and that we already have the intention of being a helper, you know, an
Right.
uplifter, a teacher, healer, you know, whatever. And so, yeah, it's definitely a mutual thing. It's never, even when I write a blog or something, I'm talking to myself first, you know, and then I'm
Right.
sharing maybe some insights, or like I call them light bulb in the soul moments. So, you know, in sharing those, you know, and then you get comments on it. It's like, this is just what I needed today, you know, and that
Yeah.
just then in turn uplifts you, you know, again, not that we're looking for those rah moments, but we're just there to be of service. So I love that that's what you do. Um, so why did you decide that this was a good project for you to be in? This is the Keys to Joyful Living project for 2024, and we're writing an anthology right now, and it's different from most anthologies. I decided not to have the authors only weigh in on one chapter and write one chapter, and that's all you hear from them. No, this book is by topic. So each author that is, you know, that's her expertise, or that's what is in her heart, and how she has keys to joyful living that she wants to express and give to our readers. So all through the book, these authors are writing and including their yummy keys that are helping people to unlock those doors of fulfillment and joy and a peaceful life. And so why was it important for you? Why did you say yes? And you know, what does it mean to you?
I probably have about 20 reasons. So I'll just, but
I love it.
I will start with a few. And so,
Okay.
I mean, honestly, the first reason is because you're leading it. I mean, I love you. I love your energy. I knew that the quality of this project would be very good because you know your stuff. Like I felt like I could trust that this would go well. I felt that I could trust that the people that you'd be bringing in would be aligned with my vibe and everything. So that's one reason. Also, I've led 14 anthologies now and put out 14 anthologies, and it's a lot of work. So I
Yeah.
know what it's like on your end. And I love that you invited me because I wanted to participate in one as an author. You know, there's so much energy, collective, cool energy that is created in that container of mixing with different authors. You're
Oh,
all attracted to the same topic. So there's a lot of just things that you can learn from one another and connect on, and just professionally, but also like personally. And I have no idea where it will go because you never know with the anthologies. That's what's so magic about them is you don't know what's going to happen next or who's going to connect you with who. I've for my anthologies, I see people that met each other and are friends for years after. And it's so cool to see like, oh, they're sharing their stuff on Facebook and they're connecting. Oh, they're doing something and they met through one of my anthologies. So, it's fun to be part of that too, without having to do the, organizing of it, because sometimes that I just recognize how much work that is, and it's fun to get to play this part too. So those are the big reasons. I like the topic, obviously. So much of my work has been about shifting my mindset and seeing the world differently. But I do know how to do this. For me, the things that I've learned that have worked and that I know have helped other people. So it kind of feels selfish to keep that information, honestly, to myself. It's like, here's some things that I know I've learned that, sometimes the hard way. I'd like to help somebody else have that go a little easier, and to know that they're not alone. Like, it's really hard when you're in a dark space or you feel like you'd love to reach towards joy and you can't even imagine. I remember being in it was a therapist's office. I think it was like 20 years old or something. And I was just thinking, like, I'd like to want to be happy. It was like, I want to be happy. Like, I wasn't even at, I want to be happy. Like, I couldn't even, it felt so far away. But I wanted to want that again. And so I know what that feeling is like, to kind of be reaching towards it. And this is something I think will help people that are on that type of path to just live a more joyful life, an appreciative life than they might be feeling right now.
Absolutely. And, again, I'm writing in the introduction about, because we all perceive these keys differently. We all function differently. We all have our own truths. They're individual. They're not necessarily how somebody else sees them. And when I was calling in like-minded authors, it wasn't that they're like my mind, that they believe exactly like me. I'm calling in people who are like their inner being's mind. So it's very unique. It's very individual. And I'm, it's not, when you're reading something that you might perceive that there might be a little contradiction, and, well, this lady says this and this author says this, and you don't maybe see the gelling of it, or the you might feel a little contradiction. But that's how we all discover our keys. My key to the lock is not going to necessarily be exactly like Elizabeth's key, and you may be able to pick up her key and it unlocks the door perfectly. But to use my key doesn't quite fit. It just almost goes in. So you have to stop and think that we're all individuals. That's why I wanted these authors to weigh in on these different topics, because we all do have different keys, and the way we present them, and the way, because you're going to resonate with somebody. Somewhere along the line, you're going to resonate with somebody's story, somebody's the way she provides the support, maybe what she suggests you do, because we have integrative exercises for every one of these sections. So, don't feel like you're going to reach for this book and have some cookie cutter conformist book, because if that's what you're looking for, that's not this book. This book is going to be, serve individuals to their highest calling, which may not be my highest calling, which may not be Allison's or Lori's or Melissa's, or, so, with all of our authors, I'm just encouraging them, speak your truth. Don't speak my truth. Speak your truth. So this was just a really important point I wanted to get across. For what are you kind of looking forward to as far as what you want to get out of this, and also what you want to give?
Yeah, I mean, so I always like writing. I love the process. I always discover things about myself and about the topic when I'm writing about it. That's just the way that it works. The reason I'm specifically being part of an anthology and what I hope to get out of it. I do want to connect with the other authors. There's always magic there. There's always something. There's some reason we're connecting that could be book related, could be personally related, could be, who knows? It's something the universe has planned for us. And I'm eagerly anticipating like figuring out what that is, but I already have connected with the other authors and like really like their vibration and like who they are. So I'm excited to be part of that and to get to know them more. And what was the last thing that you asked?
What do you want to give or receive?
Yeah. I mean, I want to be able to give the wisdom that I've learned about joyful living, right? That has worked for me. And I totally know, I love what you were just saying, that it is so individual. Like if someone said the keys for joyful living are you have to run 3 miles every day, guess what? It's not happening. I'll be miserable. That's just not in the cards. And I also realize that there are times where, things that I used to only do Ashtanga yoga, right? You move very fast, you're sweating, it's like very intense. And that was the only way I could shut my brain off. It was the only way I could find like some kind of okayness in my brain. And then at the end of it, I could lay down and be in Savasana and actually relax. But I had to do all that. Now at 45, I don't know if it's age related or not, I'm not doing that kind of yoga class. I'm like, please let me lay down on the floor and twist and like do a little bit more restorative. But my brain can do that now. I didn't used to be able to do it. So at different times in our lives, in different situations, there might be different keys that work and that don't. But I'm kind of interested also in writing to get clarity on what I have done too. Because yes, I figured it out along the way, but this also gives me time to kind of reflect of like, what has made the difference? What has made the biggest difference? So it's part of that process of learning, sharing, that reflecting time too, which I'm looking forward to and enjoying so far.
Yes. There's so many times I have to, either put pen to paper or I have to sit at my computer and just formulate it in my mind. What was the steps I just took? Because this feels really good. Now, is this repeatable? Is this something that I can come back to when I hit that brick wall again or that resistance? And does this key, for lack of a better word, does this unlock what I'm looking for?
Right.
That raised vibration, that joy of who we are. Does that let me tune back in? So I totally love that. So where can people connect with you?
The easiest way to connect with me is to go to greenheartliving.com. That is my website. That's probably the easiest way. Or Liz at greenheartliving.com. That's my email. You can reach out and I'll be happy to get back to anyone.
Yes, I'll have those in the show notes for your convenience, those links for you. And I just so appreciate you coming and spending some time with us and kind of letting us know, why it is important. Because, this won't be my last anthology, and I probably will not be your last anthology. So you have to add a few more on those slates. This is only the second that I'm producing. I have been in several that Liz has published. So very grateful for that. And do you have any parting words of wisdom you'd like to leave us with?
I just like to share my gratitude that you're convening this and bringing it together. I know you're so gifted at this work of bringing in wonderful human beings and bringing their words together, you're crafting their words together into a really beautiful book that can help people. You're so good at this. And it's such a joy to get to be part of this. So thank you so much for making this happen. I know the work it takes, and you're so gifted at it. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. I certainly do. And yet it's fun. You know, y'all don't think that we're not having fun when we do this.
It is fun.
Reading what these women are writing, and oh my goodness, it's going to be so good. And the topics that we have, it's going to be such a good resource, almost like a reference book, because you can just find the topic that you might be struggling with, and you can flip to that section, and there's a whole bunch of keys, and there's a whole bunch of integrative exercises. So there's no excuse that you don't know what to do. We're going to offer a ton of information and some really wisdom within these words, these pages. So I love you. Thank you, Liz, so much. I appreciate you spending time with us. And I, again, am Mary Ann Pack. I have Envision Greatness Press, and you can reach me at my website, envisiongreatness.com. And if you have a book that is being called through you, because that's how our books come, they call through us, and we can explore publishing. There's a complimentary call there that you can schedule with me. We do ghostwriting, and we help you create your journals and workbooks to up-level a program or an event maybe that you're having that you want a workbook or a journal to go with it. Or you have a coaching program. I'm happy to visit with you and see what we can do together. And again, I appreciate you, Liz. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you for coming, and blessings all.